Okay, happy November. I kind of wanted to wait a week and let the first part of this month kind of come to fruition. I wasn't sure what was going to happen this week, and so I wanted to make sure my message didn't get lost. I think um, November is a really tough month for a lot of people. I think it it's the beginning of like seasonal depression for a lot of people and a lot of change. The leaves are starting to change, and our bodies change as well, and so I think it's important to acknowledge that and be aware that as we move into the colder seasons, that like our emotions are going to change. And I kind of wanted to make the video today about struggling and acknowledging that it's okay to struggle and some of the fallacies around motivation, maybe how people expect you to be perfect when you're going to the gym, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think that a lot of the times people just assume if you're going to the gym regularly that you have just ample amounts of motivation and that you're endlessly motivated to do your job or you accomplish your goals. And that's not the case. I think a lot of the times that success is derived from your commitment to yourself rather than motivation. I think motivation changes each day. To me, motivation is when you see an advertisement on TV and it's a product that fits into your life, and so you're motivated to purchase it. I think dedication is when you have a goal and it's a long term goal. It's going to take you 3, 6, 9, 12 months to get to this goal. And that's when you show up every single day, even if you don't have the motivation to do it every day, but you accomplish those little things. I think motivation changes each day. I kind of drew this out as like a visual representation, but like throughout the week, you're going to have a little bit different motivation each day. This is really typical for me. Like at the beginning of the week, I've got a lot of motivation. And then as it gets like Thursday, Friday, I lose a lot of motivation. And so it just kind of fluctuates through the week. And I think relying on motivation is a great way to set yourself up for disappointment. But being dedicated and diligent about your daily actions, I think that's going to get you a lot closer to the goals that you're trying to accomplish. It's important to also remember when you're working towards a long term goal that there are so many outside influences into what you're doing. You have your friends, your family, you have your work environment, you have, your personal life, you have social media. There's all these influences that kind of push you. And so I think it's important to really make sure that the goal that you're working towards is an intrinsic goal. It's something that is going to benefit you rather than benefit people around you. When you tend to do things for other people, you are not always as successful as you could be when you're doing something for yourself. Just because of that dedication to yourself, I think it's easy to commit or be motivated to do something for other people when, if it's a long term commitment, you have to have that dedication to do it. And it's important to really be diligent and intentional when you're trying to accomplish these goals. I think for me, a lot of my struggles are related to my external factors. I think this last year I've gone through a lot of change. I think it's been really hard. November is a particularly challenging month now for me, as next week will be the 1 year anniversary of my father passing away. And so I think emotionally, I think there's a lot of factors that make it hard for me to stay committed to myself. And that's when I really have to look back at my goals and see what is my why, what is my reason for doing these things. And that's where I gain the daily motivation to do it. But it's that dedication and commitment to my goal and to see myself succeed that I get up every day and I do the things that I don't necessarily enjoy. It's Friday morning, I have homework to be doing, and I've taken time out of my day to do something that I know is important for me and my long-term success. Those are I think those are the moments when you need to congratulate yourself and give yourself accolades to working and accomplishing your goals, even if it's bit by bit in small pieces, getting you towards that larger idea that you have. Um, doing it for yourself and giving yourself, props for doing it, I think is really important along the way. I also tend to lose motivation when I'm stressed. This time of year with school, we're getting close to the end of the semester. And so I've got final projects due. I've got tests every week. I feel like I'm creating a new study guide every other day. I feel like I'm trying to go 100 miles an hour. And that is also when I start to lose motivation because it feels like I use the excuse like I don't have time to do it. And the truth is, I just haven't allocated the right amount of time to do it. There's 24 hours in a day. And while I'm busy and while I do have a job and while I do have school, I am trying to make time to take care of myself and go to the gym and exercise. I've been swimming, I've been lifting a little bit of weights. And so while it's not the amount of exercise I was doing a year ago, prior to my dad passing and moving and breakup, I think it's more than I was doing a month ago. And so I just give myself props each time I'm successful in making it to the gym or making it to the pool, and that I am working towards my goal slowly but surely, even if it's not a quick and rapid rate that I'm getting there. I think it's important when we're working towards a long term goal that we acknowledge those little wins each time we have them. Um, Long term success is not going to be grandiose each time you accomplish something. A lot of the times, it's when you're in the shit, it's not the most fun, but you have a little win that was more than you had yesterday. And I think in order to be successful in the long term, acknowledging those short term wins or those little moments of victory is really important in rewarding yourself to stay motivated or dedicated to what you're working towards. I think it's important to celebrate that. I think life is short and life can be really tough. And so when you're working towards a goal that takes, a year to accomplish, a little win every once in a while is definitely something to celebrate. I think those are really key moments where you can reinforce why you're doing this and give yourself those give yourself credit for doing the hard work. I think the biggest takeaway from this video and what I want to focus on for the month of November is slowing down and really taking care of yourself. I think November is a really challenging month. We go into the holidays. It's a tough time of year if you're grieving someone, if you are dealing with disordered eating. I think that that's a really tough time as well. You're around so much social pressure to engage in a holiday, and I think that these are really challenging times for people. So while you're going through this month and while you're trying to accomplish your goals, find those little wins that you've made throughout the way and just give yourself some credit for that. Celebrate those. It's those little wins are worth it. It's going to get you a lot closer to your goal than not doing these little things or not doing the things that aren't as much fun. And so I think the rest of November, I'm really going to be focusing on mental health and really just taking care of yourself. Next week, I'm going to talk about grief a little bit, talk a little bit about my relationship with grief and how I've been processing it over the last year and some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that I've learned don't work. Um, and give some acknowledgement to grief and loss and it being a really challenging time of year. But happy Friday, happy November. I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe weekend. If you haven't already subscribed to the video, head on over to my social media and give me a follow and see what next week comes. This was a light week for content creation, so next week I'll amp it up a little bit more.